I don't know if there actually is any demand for this, but I did promise you guys yesterday that I was going to react to the top 5 Q&A portion of Miss Eco International because I thought, I needed to make a reaction video to Chantal's full performance, of course, because it's the only girl within the competition that I actually actively followed. Not because of anything, but because I actually didn't really follow Miss Eco International this year, like at all. So I thought that maybe the final Q&A portion will be a nice moment to see how the other girls performed and even maybe compare it to Chantal, because a lot of people were questioning, should Chantal have won the pageant? Was it a fair competition? What happened? So this is basically my reaction to that. I hope that you guys enjoy it. If you're new here, my name is Portelles. I make content about pageants and a lot of different other things. So make sure that you drop a like on this video, that you follow me, subscribe, and of course, be part of the conversation as well in the comment section down below. So let's get into the reaction. Here I have my footage and let's see how the girls did.
The moment I finish asking you the question. Indonesia, let's go.
Indonesia is the first one.
Your question
Let's see.
If you get the whole world to agree on one thing, what will it be? If you get the whole world to agree on something, what would that thing be?
Good evening, everyone. If I get that change, I would live my life to the fullest, where I enjoy every moment, good or bad or mediocre. I will cherish every moment because, we only live this life once. And it's all there is. We need to cherish every moment and live our life to the fullest. Thank you. Shukran.
Thank you, Indonesia.
Ooh. Okay, Miss Indonesia, I do have some thoughts about this because if I'm being quite honest, from the things that I did get to see about Miss Eco International, right? I did tell you earlier that I didn't really actively follow the pageant, but since I make content about pageants, I follow a lot of pageant pages, Missology, Such Factor, you name it, right? So these pages are actively posting about the pageant, and I get to see sometimes photos of the girls and whatnot without necessarily going out of my way to look for them. I thought at some point Miss Indonesia is one of the strongest delegates in this entire batch. And looking at her, she looks the part, honestly, very queenly vibes. And I thought that she had all the potential in the world to win. But the problem here is the communication skills. And I'm not saying that she's not smart or eloquent. I'm saying that there is a language barrier. And to be quite honest, I feel like this is part of a bigger conversation when it comes to Indonesian pageant queens. A lot of them, not all of them, some of them are really, really, really intelligent. They're really capable of communicating. But some of them go to compete internationally without having yet the level of language requirements, basically, for them to be able to express themselves eloquently, to make sure that their ideas are clear, that the message is received properly. And this might be one of those cases where perhaps the girl had the potential to win the crown easily, but because the Q&A wasn't really up to the expectation, it didn't happen, right? I don't know exactly what is the outcome of Miss Indonesia, like where she ended in the ranking, but I know that she didn't win the pageant. So, yeah. I mean, for me, if you ask me like a couple of days ago, I thought she's the front runner, she's going to win. So, there we go.
Ukraine?
Now, Miss Ukraine, who actually ended winning the pageant. So, let's see how she
Your question
did.
is, from your point of view, what is the key quality that a world leader should possess?
Thank you for that question. I think that there's so many qualities that a leader should possess. He should be wise. He or she should be a good listener. He or she should be a guide towards a better future for the group, a nation, humanity. But for me, the biggest or two biggest qualities that a world leader should possess is virtue and is the ability to empower and inspire people. I think that virtue is accumulated by your good thoughts, your good deeds. Again, because leader is an example. He is the one who leads, who has a group behind him. The true leader is not interested in slaves. He is interested into empowerment and bringing the power and the inner light to each of the group, each the person of a nation. So he is the one who is responsible for a safe environment and guidance into the better future. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ukraine.
Ooh, okay, that's a lot to digest here. What I'm going to say is I really like the first part of the answer. She makes sense. She's eloquent. She is the perfect example of what I was just explaining to you. Okay, she went abroad to compete with an acceptable enough level of English, meaning that she would be able to pass her idea. Or at least if you're not really that eloquent, you can also ask for a translator, which is a route that sometimes pageant girls forget that is actually available to them. I don't really like the ending. I think that she was just beating around the bush, like just rambling when she should have wrapped it up. And you could tell basically that the host was ready to interrupt her. Even here, if you look at the backdrop, 59 seconds. So she literally used all of the time that was available to her. Technically speaking, when you listen to the answer, it was there. Okay. And she carries herself beautifully. So I can see. But now I'm wondering how the other girls did, because if this is the answer that actually ended up winning, I'm guessing that the other answers maybe were not as strong. So
Brazil,
let's see. Miss Brazil.
your question is, do you think influencers contribute positivity to the world today? Sure.
¿Crees que los influencers contribuyen
Translator.
positivamente al mundo actual? Por favor, explique.
Okay, and another thing, like this is a pet peeve, honestly, for me. Like, I don't like this. Why is it that if the pageant knows that some of the girls will need a translator, why is it that it's not available in their language? This girl is from Brazil, so she speaks Portuguese, and she is provided a Spanish translator. It's a little bit disrespectful to the girl, if you ask me. I know that it's not the easiest thing, but if you do things properly and you ask the girls ahead of time who wants a translator, it should be available to her, unless the girl herself said that she didn't want a translator and then last minute she changed her mind. So that's a different story, right?
A internet é uma ferramenta muito poderosa que temos atualmente.
The internet is a very powerful tool that you can use daily.
E cabe a nós decidir qual é o meio que vamos utilizá-la para propagar o bem ou para disseminar informações e coisas que façam mal à saúde mental das pessoas.
That depends on us, that how we use these tools to advertise everything and to use everything related to the things that we think that's healthy or not for the mental.
Como pessoa que utiliza da
That's a major red flag for me. I mean, the translation is not accurate, guys. I don't speak Portuguese by any means, but I do speak Spanish, which is pretty close to Portuguese. But this is one of the reasons why I'm telling you that it's important to have a translator in the language of the delegate that understand what they're saying, because right now what the translator is giving us, even in English, he's just saying a lot of things. What are those things? I'm sure that in Portuguese she is not using the word thing to describe her idea, so the translator is giving us something so general that is not fair, that is not even close to what she's actually trying to transmit. And again, I don't speak Portuguese, but because I kind of understand, I know that she's saying more than just thing, right? So that's quite upset.
Como pessoa que utiliza da rede social como trabalho, é nossa obrigação disseminar informações positivas e que ajudem as pessoas no seu dia a dia.
For the influencer, the most important thing is to keep giving more information to attract the good and positive things.
As Mikus Brazil, I am committed to disseminating this information for all the world, share objects and values as we share here today as Mizico International. Thank you so much.
Girl, all the things really took away from the answer for me. And again, that's not the girl's fault. But at the end, she spoke perfect English. Granted, she has her accent. She might struggle with it a little bit, but she was able to give us like a cohesive, like an answer that makes sense, that is, something reasonable. So that's, there's a silver lining sometimes. The girls have to decide whether they're going to go with the translator if they really don't have any control over their English, or if they might get nosebleed or something. But at the same time, they also need to know, they need to be confident enough in their skills to be like, you know what, I actually can try to answer it and express myself in a way that they will understand what I try to say. Because I think that if she would have tried to answer in English with the level of English that she just demonstrated, the answer would be much better than what the translator gave us. So that's, again, it's upsetting for the girl, because she prepared for so long. She, probably put a lot of money into this competition, time, effort, and then for the translator to not even translate accurately, right? Gosh.
Thank you very much, Brazil. Canada.
You can see it. I mean, look at this. This is the owner of the pageant. Look at her face. She looks
Thank you
disappointed.
very
I don't
much,
know.
Brazil. Canada.
Okay, let's hear it from Miss Canada now. You're representing me also, girl. So come on
Your
now.
question is,
Let's
how
go.
can beauty inspire participants and audience to take action for environmental conservation?
Thank you so much for the question. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. That's something that I'm sure we've all heard. And beauty is something that we can use to empower. Look at the Miss Eco International platform. That is exactly what we do. We use beauty with a purpose to showcase what we can do when we work together, when we work towards a greener future. It's the journey of 1,000 miles that begins with a single step. And if we each conscientiously take that single step to reduce our own individual and collective carbon footprint, we can truly create a greener and better future for tomorrow. Thank you so much. Shukran.
Grabe. Oh my God, my girl ate and left no crumbs. First of all, I'm so proud as a Canadian of being represented so beautifully in this competition. As I said earlier, I didn't really follow Miss Eco International, so it's nothing against the girls. I was just overwhelmed with other things, right? I'm doing a lot at the same time. So I was not aware of the girl who was representing Canada this year at Miss Eco, but looking at her, I mean, already top 5, incredible. The answer, amazing. And to be honest, when I heard the question, I didn't get it right away. What is that they're asking? So I think that she did a beautiful job at like answering it and justifying it and making it sound beautiful and keeping it within the length that it's kind of acceptable for a pageant question, so really good job. I don't have much to criticize, if I'm being honest. So far, by far, the best answer of the entire batch. I'm trying to give feedback to every single girl just in case sometimes they might decide to join again or something. So one thing that just to keep in mind, Miss Canada, you looked beautiful this night, okay? And this is a message also for my shorter girls. Be mindful of how you're being filmed, because look at this. This is basically the video that will be remembered in years to come when you show basically to your kids and your grandkids and whatever, hey, I participated in a pageant, and then you pull this footage where we cannot really see your face because of the microphone. So just be mindful of that, girls. If you're on the shorter side and the microphone is really up there because everyone is tall, bring it down a little bit or ask for assistance or just grab the microphone and like get away from the stick, because then it takes away from the moment where you will be seen on camera delivering that answer. But other than that, honestly, I'm just providing constructive criticism here for, growth and improvement every single time. But I don't have anything to criticize about Miss Canada. Great job. And I'm very proud. Let's go.
So much. Shukran.
Thank you, Canada. The Philippines. Your question is, as a queen, how can you use your platform to positively impact your community?
I am a beauty queen, but I am also a young girl. I am also a fashion enthusiast. And like you heard earlier, I advocate for sustainable fashion. I love trends. I love fashion. Fashion is art and fashion tells a story to me. But I also know that fashion is the biggest contributor to pollution nowadays. And so as a queen, I pledge to champion and have already championed sustainable fashion by repurposing and reusing and recycling my wardrobe. If you take a look at my Instagram, you can see that in this Miss Eco International journey, I have cut up my own clothes, I have used my old clothes, and I have given them a new life. And that is how beauty queens can inspire us to give a better change to the world, to be better, and to strive for a better future. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Philippines.
Okay, so let's talk about Chantal here for a moment. If you've been here on the channel, if you watched my video yesterday, I actually had a full reaction to Chantal's performance all throughout the competition. So if you already watched that, then I'll just share some more insight now, especially that I get to compare Chantal with everyone else. What I realize now is that Chantal went more on the storytelling route rather than just answering the question. She decided to kind of like create this image for them to understand where she's coming from. She used herself as an example. She used her actions. She used the things that motivate her and the change that she's able to make in the world to answer the question. So it wasn't like a straight to the point answer. It was more of, like I'm gonna tell you a story to kind of show you what I mean by this, right? I did point out yesterday that Chantal, towards the end, was repeating the word better too much, so it got a little bit redundant. She should have, cut that last part just to make it more impactful, more effective. But overall, this was a beautiful way of answering the question. I think that out of all of the girls, hers was one of the most effective by far. I also said yesterday, because I was getting a couple of messages, people saying, she should have won and this and that. As I said earlier, the Philippines has won some crowns already in this international pageant. The most recent one being 2 years ago when Kathleen Patton won the pageant. So just in 2022, if I remember accurately. So I think that the pageant is just trying to grow other markets. They might not have an interest to crown a Filipina right away, but the fact that Chantal was able to make it even into the top 5, even first runner-up, which she ended, is already a huge accomplishment, especially after she was sick for I don't know if it was a couple of days or a day. She missed the preliminary competition. So she was able to bounce back beautifully. And then as a first runner-up, considering those challenges, is already beautiful. So no complaints there. Truthfully speaking, if I had to pick the best answer of the night, I would say, so I would go in this particular order. So I would say Indonesia, Brazil, where's the winner from? Ukraine, Philippines, and Canada. I think that would have been my order from 5th position to number 1. So the best answer of the night, hands down, was Canada for me. No bias there. I just thought that it was the most effective, straight to the point, and clear answer. Everyone else, well, I already explained basically my feedback for that. So I don't know if there was any demand for this video, but I promised it. So here it is. Let me know, you guys, what do you think in the comment section? If you agree with me, if you see where I'm coming from, if you agree with the outcome of the pageant. And in all cases, thank you for watching. Don't forget to drop a like, subscribe, follow, share, and stay tuned for more content coming soon. Thank you and see you soon.